Hello, my name is John Burris, and I'm the owner of the Little Wellness Company. And this video is called Flat Feet for Health Part 3. In this video, I'll be sharing with you some important strategies to reclaim your feet, to remove the pain, and come back to a healthy, balanced life. So let me recap. In the first video, I talked about basically how the foot is supposed to work, the anatomy of the foot, and the proper structure of the foot. The second video, I talked about the politics of the foot and how we've been misled about how the foot's actually supposed to work. In this video, I'll be sharing with you some ways to heal your feet of pain, instability, imbalance, and all kinds of other problems that arise. So let's recap a little bit here. Flat feet are the healthiest of feet. Your foot is supposed to bend and flex when you stand up. So if this is the foot here, it's supposed to have all kinds of flexibility in it when you stand up. When we wear shoes in the modern world that don't bend and don't flex, we begin to harden and solidify our feet. Our feet become glued together and hardened and solidified. So if this is a shoe and here's the arch support inside the shoe, if you're putting your foot in that shoe for long durations, what happens is you're causing the foot to become hard and rigid in that form. So it stops bending and flexing. It becomes hard and rigid, and then you have a rigid foot with basically a high arch, plantar fasciitis, pain in the heel, pain in the calf. You have all kinds of problems, perhaps cramping going on in your calves, muscle spasms, because your foot is designed to flatten as you stand up. So flat feet are the healthiest feet. So how do we reclaim our feet again? Well, we're going to have to do some things to change the dynamic of the foot. The body is essentially soft plastic, and it will mold to how you're basically shaping it. So if you do the wrong things, you're going to mold it the wrong way. But if you do the right things, you're going to mold it the right way. So let's talk about some of those right ways. The first thing you can do is get out of your shoes. Walk around barefoot around the house, at the beach in the soft sand, at the park, so you start to become flexible again in your feet. The more you wear shoes, it's like eyeglasses. Eyeglasses do not correct your eyes. They keep them locked at a certain distance or make them worse. The same with shoes. You're not going to correct your feet by continuing to wear the same type of shoes. Now, there are some new shoes out that are very helpful that have no arch support. And one company I like is called Zero Shoes, and they have a flat bottom, and they don't have any arch support, so they don't create any stiffness or tightness. They create a complete flexibility of the foot. You can also wear a sandal, or a sandal with a cork bottom, which allows your foot to soften and flex quite a bit. So starting with your shoes, most of us need to wear shoes at some time or another. But the type of shoes we're wearing, from athletic shoes to high heels to really stiff shoes, are causing more damage than you can imagine. So look at your shoes. Something with a little to no arch is always beginning. Go flat, barefoot as much as possible. You can also employ a professional, a massage therapist, or a fascia body worker to start undoing the wrappings in the foot and the ankles and the shins and the whatnot. So what happens is the tissues in the foot become hard and rigid. Sometimes you have to go in there with a manual therapy to break that down and to start creating circulation and energy flow back into the foot. So those are helpful things, is spending some money to have somebody work on your feet. A reflexologist is also another person. Reflexologist works on pressure points and whatnot. They're able to mitigate some of the pain and to enliven the foot. You can also do a lot of this at home. There are many types of massagers. This is the massager here. You would take the massager on your foot, and this will help you at home to do the same thing. Once again, there's many different types of massagers, personal massagers available that have different speeds, different price points, different pressures. So especially if your feet are painful, start slow and you can massage your own feet at home, and that's a great way to start. to get the circulation, to break down some of the hardened fascia, to get some life back in your foot. So once again, the foot has the ability to change if we do enough of the right things. There's also, let's say, massage tool. This massage tool is made out of wood. And you would take it in the bottom of your foot and you would do some pressure point work. It's not always the most pleasant approach to things, but this is also very effective using massage tools to start opening up the muscles and the fascia in the foot. There's several types of balls you can roll on. Then there are different pressure points. For example, this is a very small ball, very firm and very hard. You would roll that at the bottom of your foot in a circle or whatnot, figure eights. For some people, this is too much pressure. It's too hard. Other people might enjoy this. Some people would enjoy a golf ball, rolling that on the bottom of your foot. Stand up, spend 15, 20 minutes a day rolling your feet. Once again, this is very firm. This might be too much for most people. So there are better choices, I believe. But for some people, a golf ball is another choice. One of the balls I like is the lacrosse ball because it's firm, but it has a little bit of sponginess to it. You can buy that at Amazon or other retailers or a sporting goods store. A lacrosse ball, for me, has the perfect pressure and resistance and support that helps soften my foot. So a lacrosse ball is a really good choice. I like that. A tennis ball is good for some people who have very painful feet because it has a lot of give to it. For some people, it's not enough pressure, so you can try a tennis ball as well, and that's sometimes helpful. Everybody's going to be different in the type of pressure they can handle. There's also balls with spikes on them. This one has, I'm not sure what it's called, but it has a lot of pointy spikes on that gets into deeper some of the places. For some people, this is too painful. Other people would enjoy that. So you can try a little ball with spikes on it. Another one here is a very firm ball with some knobs on it. You roll that on your foot. You can do this standing up or while you're sitting down at your computer watching television. These little knobs here start to self-massage your feet. So what you're trying to do is break down some of the hardened tissue, bring in circulation, bring in blood flow, bring in all kinds of nutrients into the foot. There's also, I would call this a half a ball. You would stand up and roll your foot on this, and this has spikes on it, and this is helpful in essentially wearing down some of the hard tissue in the foot and starts to bring in circulation and whatnot. There's also, this is a ramp in a way. You would stand on this, and you would allow your feet to stretch. You stand on this for 10 to 15 minutes a day, and by having something like this, it stretches your Achilles tendon, the plantar fascia in the bottom of your foot. So it's a slope that you would stand on. So these can be very helpful as well. There's also many yoga poses that are helpful. And a yoga pose like downward facing dog or many of the others are stretching the fascia tissue. A lot of people don't necessarily understand fascia so much. It can't be stretched quickly. It takes time and it's a slower process. But our body's made up of many layers of fascia that become hard and rigid. So you want to be able to stretch the fascia to bring life back to the foot area. You can grab a tub as well with warm water and perhaps some essential oils like lavender or peppermint oil and put in a cup or two of Epsom salt. And if you soak your feet in there, it starts to nourish your feet, break down some of the hard tissue, and starts to enliven your feet again and bring life back to your feet. So these are just some of the things you can do to help regain your feet again, and you're trying to make them flexible again. You're trying to create a flat foot and get rid of the arches. So just let me recap here. Flexible feet are the healthiest feet. Flat feet are the healthiest feet. An arch foot is basically a tight foot. Anytime you have an arch, like in this model here has a really high arch, that's a tight foot. That's not healthy or natural. That is something like, why would you want a tight back? Why would you want a tight neck? Why would you want a tight shoulder? Well, why would you want a tight foot? So an arched foot is a tight foot. It's an overly tight foot where the muscles and fascia are in a spasm. And unfortunately, the culture has created shoes and an industry that supports a tight foot and creates a tight foot. So there's lots of ways to correct that. Many of those ways you can do on your own at home. Many ways you might have to hire a professional to help you with. And it does take time. If you've been wearing shoes for a long time and have painful feet, it might take a while before you get back to balance and normal again. But it's a process along the way. It's not an instant magic pill. But there are many solutions, and it's very difficult living with tight, sore feet. You can't move, you can't walk around, you can't play tennis, you can't play golf, you can't do many things because your feet are always hurting. So these are some simple solutions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.